Okay. Some of you, okay. Yeah, hi all of you, good afternoon. I'm just seeing some of the older faces after quite some time. Okay. Chalo, good to have you back. And some of you are sitting through part of the current recent batches also. Hi Pooja, Mohini, Khem, Pratibha, Adhiraj, Anamika, Shivani Chaudhary, Bhavna, Mehak, Soumya. Okay. So some of you are from, I think, last year's batch. You had, ये पहले बार हमने ऐसे किया last time, where we give the students the option to opt out and opt for the next year. इसके पहले we didn't have that, but I realized the type of juggling that you all do. Okay, so we decided, okay, then could be an experiment for us. Yes, Devarga. There are quite a few have done that. Dashboard not working, Shivani? Okay. We have quite a few on the dashboard already. Nahi hai to theek hai. We will add you up. The next couple of sessions, we'll let you discover for yourself what's happening and what we intend to do. Okay. So there are a couple of assumptions I have when I start off these enrichment, and you must tell me if you have done it or not. Okay. So ek to hai ki you need to have a content command on the foundation topics. And how do you check that? The only check you have is look up the workbook. I think most of you have joined us. I have seen the workbook. If you have not seen it, I'll share the workbook soft copy on the Telegram also. Okay? And you should be able to answer all the questions. And when I say answer, don't just look at the question. Okay? Aap likho usko. One paragraph, 40 words, 30 words. Some maths are following. There are some maps to be drawn. Okay? This is the most important check. Agar ye nahi ho pa raha hai, then your foundation topic is not in control and you must work doubly to control that. That's one assumption. The second important assumption is that you understand the question's trend. I will help you on this, although I know some of you have not done that. See, every topic, they have a typical range of questions they ask. In fact, I will ask you कि question पढ़ के बताओ आपको क्या लग रहा है, किस पे जा रहे हैं questions. Don't read anything, everything in the name of I want to go deep. There has to be some range in which you must prepare. Okay, so a very important step here is the PYQ analysis. Some of you have done this, some of you are initiated. Okay, that's one. The third, a very important aspect is your, in general, writing ability. Okay, writing ability mein there is an analytical component. There is a component where you must structure your answers. There is a component of speed also, how fast you can write. Okay, ये भी important part hai. Okay, I'm assuming most of you have this or you will develop this. And fourth is that you must have a good range of data, good range of examples to use in your answers. ये चार आपको अगर आपके पास है already as a part of your skills, nice. Otherwise, you must develop this slowly. And this is not something that I can teach you or anybody can teach you as a part of your regular foundation batch. Okay, so we'll get into this. Now, one challenge all of you will have. Yeah, hi, good evening. Yes. Today's class, okay, we are starting off with geography enrichment, and these sessions are meant for 2025 examination. Now, those of you are giving a prelims or otherwise also, 25 is what I'm targeting, okay? And this is the next level after you have done your foundation sessions, your course is over more or less, and you can indulge in this. Okay? The course duration is, last year I started a bit more later. This time I've started from mid-September. So mid-September say, okay, somewhere around December end तक हो जाना चाहिए. January 15th tak, more or less my test should be over. The schedule I will adjust in some ways. So look at this approximately as 4 months. 4 months. And you will have 3 classes, 2 to 3 classes a week. Okay, and the days I have fixed is Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay, and the classes will start at 4 o'clock. And till last year, I used to have 2 hours of class. This year, I'll stretch a bit more because one of the toppers, Pragyananda itself, okay, who scored a rank 20s, he said, sir, one gap students have is, while the foundation goes on, most of them are not in control of the content. It'll be nice if you can help us revise some bit also. Okay, so that's how this year onwards, I have not done this earlier. In fact, this year's MSP also included some bit of revisions also. Okay, so we will do this. We will add it as a part of your revisions also add kar denge aap. That's why be okay if I stretch the class. Okay, I can go to 7, 7:30, and if you are not tired, I can stretch even a bit more. But it will not be 2 hours class anymore. Okay, so be okay with that. Okay, और जब नहीं कर पाओगे बता देना, you can leave. Okay, so that's okay. This course will help in state services or not? Absolutely. Okay. All the state services examination, okay, जिसमें geography optional नहीं भी है. Okay. See, the reality is, in many states, the optionals have been removed. और जहां पर optionals है, the questions quality have been elevated. So yes, it will help you state examination, but to be very honest, I have not seen all the questions of state examination. So maybe this year I'll try adding that component also. How many PYQs will be there? बेटा मैं शुरू कर दूं, then you will ask me, sir, okay, इतना काफी होगा कि नहीं? ठीक है? PYQs will be there, but I need to go beyond PYQs, not simply the PYQs already asked. Okay, so fine. Those of you not initiated, today your schedule reads as orientation session. So I'll orient you plus some discussions also on some questions. Okay, so I'll try finishing by this time more or less. And ye must hai. This is a must because those of you giving a prelims, I want you to shift into prelims mode, okay, latest by January. Okay, uske baad mein your prelims will get impacted. Okay, so I'll finish this one here. Now, there are, let me explain this. What is the approach that we have? And I want you to be aware of this, and you should know why I'm doing this. Now see, the general approach is that you do the foundation course and you directly get into a test series. I have always been critical of this approach because in the foundation course, the topics taught to you are generally level 1 and in some cases level 2 questions. And while doing this, the thinking skills are not very well developed. So when I give a test, दो ही option है. I can give you straight and simple questions. You might attempt, but the moment I ask you L3 level questions, आप इसको छोड़ दोगे. If you analyze the paper, okay, the question का ratio is approximately 50-50. It has now shifted towards 40-60, where 50%, 60% is L3 questions, and this is L1 or L2 questions. So the moment and L3 questions are next level questions in terms of content भी, in terms of approach भी. तो अगर मैं पूछ देता हूं तो क्या होगा, आप छोड़ दोगे, right? And maybe I'll discuss the question as a part of the post-test discussion. Okay, and I've seen students after 1 or 2 tests, वो test लिखना ही बंद कर देते हैं. उसके बाद क्या होता है? You are basically coming to class, sir test discussion सुन लेते हैं. That's all. I don't agree with that. So what I did was, my modification was, I will do F1 or the foundation level course, and then we will teach you, okay, some content, and then we will give the test. This was the approach till last year. मैं आपको पढ़ाऊंगा 1-2 classes, and then I'll give you the test. But then I realized, even if I'm teaching, you still do not have writing practice. Okay, and like I said, I'm a teacher, and this teaching is L3 level questions. और आपका शायद foundation ही control में नहीं है. So from this year, I'm doing 2 things. We will have foundation you have done. I'm adding 3 components here. The 3 components are, 1, we will have some revision. Okay, so that you are familiar. At least terms बता देंगे very fast. Okay. Second is, we will have practice tests. Practice test where I'll give the question to you. I'll give the answers also to you. Your work to study the answers, to read the answers, memorize whatever you can, if you can, and then you will write the test. अगर देख के भी लिखना हो, देख के भी लिखो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, but आप लिखोगे पहले. Okay, I'll give you 2 hours, 3 hours, write this test, and I will not check this. Reason being, I'm giving the answers to you पहले से. In fact, in some cases, I will also discuss the answers with you. Okay, इससे क्या होगा? Some bit of writing practice हो जाएगा. Then you will come, and I will again teach you here. So you have revisions, okay, select topics, not everything. You will have some practice tests, the questions of which I'll give you 2-3 days पहले से दे देंगे आपको. Like today, on the dashboard and even on the Telegram channel, I will share the questions. There are about 10, 12, 15 questions होंगे. The question दे देंगे आपको हम. And along with the questions, I'll give you the study material also. Okay, 1-2 page में answer होगा. On a particular day that we have announced, you will come and write the test. I'll prefer that you come and write the test in the class itself. Otherwise, घर में लिखो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. And you need not submit it. But make sure आप write कर रहे हो. And maybe as a part of a culture of regularity, you can submit so that I have a sense of, okay, you have participated, but I will not do any evaluation of that. Okay. In the GS, I do evaluation because uska alag game hai. And then I will teach you approximately 2 classes per unit. उसके बाद आप लोग proper test लिखोगे आप लोग. And in these tests, I will ask some questions from here. I will ask some questions from here. Next आप पढ़ा रहे होंगे. I'll ask you some PYQ questions also here. So that, okay, so imagine, you have done PYQ questions, you have done 10, 12 these questions, and you have done another 10, 12, 20 questions here. So every unit mein, you would have written approximately 20, 30 answers. And I think that's a good coverage in terms of your readiness. Yes, online students also have the same. Okay. It is not only for offline. Whatever you offer offline is also for online, Vaibhav. Okay. So that is the approach I'm going to have. Achha. Now, to make sure that aap log ye manage kar pao, this is my suggested, okay, a time management. The day you have enrichment class, the whole day dedicate only for geography. Okay, and there's one ghost called as current affairs. Okay, trust me, none of you is studying current affairs at all. Kuch kar rahe ho in the name of current affairs. Okay, my suggestion, okay, you forget this for now. And if you must do it in a smart way. Some of you know I'm doing current affairs every Fridays कराते हैं आपको, and it's on the YouTube. उसको देख लेना आप आराम से. Okay. So in the name of current affairs, don't stop your core preparation. Okay. In fact, go back and analyze the question paper. Current affairs is a tool that you must use in the answer writing. But current affairs based trade questions are barely about 10, 15, 20% of the questions. 10 questions mein se 1 ya 2 hoga, okay, which is hardcore current affair based questions. Otherwise, current affair is a tool. If you know the facts, aap use kar lena isko. ठीक है? And those who are giving prelims, okay, you need another approach for the current affairs. So my suggestion is the day you have enrichment, say Mondays, subah 6, 7 o'clock se leke raat ke 10, 11 baje tak, you are doing only geography. Okay. And the day you have GSK sessions for advanced course, some of you are there. On that day you do only GS. Okay. It's not, don't divide your advanced content into a half, 2 hours of geography, 2 hours of GS. Usme kuch nahi hone wala. You need continuous engagement, you need a continuous long stretches of study, not 1, 2 hours. हाँ सराम उसके लिए बाद में. Okay, what to do there afterwards. So approach हमारा क्या है? Revisions होंगे. We will have some discussions on advanced content, and we will have practice question. And practice question paper, there's no surprise element. Okay, by the time you reach home, your dashboards will have the questions along with the answers. And I'll share that on the Telegram also initially. Aap apne aap karenge. And the schedule, if you all have seen it, okay, today was orientation session. The first, and I will have the practice test first. Then I'll teach you. Okay, it's not that I'll give and this practice test, treat it like a practice test. The objective is, aapko paper khatam karna hai. Okay. If there are 10 answers, आप पूरा 10 लिखोगे आप लोग. And even if it means copy and write down, कोई बात नहीं, copy and write down in that case. But I'm presuming most of you will process, you will add something, you'll remove something, you'll make some diagrams in some cases. Okay. So today I give the question paper, you'll go back and read, समझोगे, okay, you'll try and struggle in some ways, you'll summarize it, and after 2 days you'll give the test. जैसे आज है Monday, I'm giving the question paper today. Your practice test is on Wednesday. So Monday आज का दिन पढ़ेंगे आप. On Wednesday, maybe morning you can study if you want to study. And and 10-12 questions actually in one day is doable. Nothing more than that. Okay, just those 12 questions, and the questions will more or less cover a bulk of the syllabus covered. Okay, so if you have, so your typical revision will include quickly revise your synopsis. नहीं किया है then ठीक है, फिर notes से पढ़ो, right? Quickly have a look at the workbook. I'm presuming इससे your foundation is in control. You will sit down intensely with the practice questions ka list. This will be 10 to 15 questions. It will vary. And I'll give you, in some cases, 2.5 hours, in some cases, 3 hours. Okay, आप इसको लिखोगे आके बैठ के. ठीक है, all of you? And these practice questions will be a mix of L1, L2 plus, okay, some L3 questions also. Taki you must have a feel of. Say, look at this question I have asked. A question, let me read out. Say a question like, globalization can often subsume folk culture. What are its positives and negative aspects? Okay, it's a thinking question. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको समझ में नहीं आ रहा. Globalization will, okay, often subsume folk cultures. Folk culture is what? Local culture. I'll think, folk culture language hai, language gets changed. Folk culture, okay, cuisine hai, food habits that can change. Folk culture, some of the practices can change. Okay, and globalization, economic globalization, mass media globalization, globalization because of faster migration trends. I can link maybe how culture expands if you understand contagion effect, relocation effect, stimulus effect, globalization impacting, globalization maybe impacting in the form of certain policies the government has, okay, tribal culture. So I'll think through this. And what are the positives and negative aspects? Okay, positive aspects, some new cultures develop. Positive aspects, the diversity increases. Positive aspects, some bad practices and superstitions, they get replaced, and with more modern thinking. Negative aspects, it might cause insecurities, it might cause a homogenization, it might lead to regionalism. Okay, so आपने सोचा इसको. Then, okay, make some jottings, notes. Now you open up the content I have given you. Okay, so उसमें पढ़ेंगे आप, कुछ facts आएगा. ठीक है? So that's one. एक और question सोचो. Cultural regions are not only arbitrary, but are also reasons of conflicts. So my question, when I draw cultural boundaries, this is a cultural boundary of Hindi speaking belt. This is a cultural boundary of Christianity or Islam or Buddhism. This is a cultural boundary of maybe certain type of literature. Okay, so when I draw cultural boundaries, then it is arbitrary. It's difficult to be very scientific when drawing a boundary of culture, and it causes conflicts. The question is, do you agree with this idea or not? Give your comments. So, ऐसे questions, it's impossible a book will teach you. तो आप बैठेंगे, you will think on this. Okay, so what are the models of cultural regions? I've got Bork model. I may have heard Morrill's model. I understand there are Indian cultural regions also. And from these regions, why is the statement telling us ये arbitrary होते हैं? Arbitrary का मतलब है the parameters are difficult to define. Arbitrary means the boundaries are not very objective. Arbitrary means they can easily change according to maybe political reasons. Arbitrary का मतलब है sometimes the same culture gets divided into two regions. Okay, yes, I agree. Again, से नहीं. Mathematical formula भी बन सकता है. Okay, why should they be arbitrary? So I'll think on this first. I'll do some jottings. Then I'll give you a material कि अब इसको पढ़ो खुद बैठ के. Let's see what the content tells us. And from understanding, you will do some jottings and you will write down proper as a part of a test. See, the scam in UPSC preparation is when we give you tests and you don't write the tests, you only come for test discussion. You're fooling yourself. Okay, that's why I call it a scam. Because when I launch a test series, हम क्या करते हैं पता है? I'm typical, okay, I'll give a test series of 30 tests. Achha. So what I'll do is, in the 30 tests, I will ask you questions which I know आप नहीं लिख पाओगे. Okay. And you'll write maybe 2-3 tests. उसके बाद, you lose your intensity of preparation. जो 2-3 tests आप लिखा है, I will get it evaluated. It costs me money. Okay. But you will not give the remaining 15 tests from which I have made money now. I hope you got the point here. This is a very simple business mathematics. Okay. In test series, trust me, if all of you give the paper, no, I'll be in loss. Right? It's very expensive. UPSC में ठीक उल्टा चल रहा है. Actually, the foundation courses must be cheaper. The test series must be very expensive. But ठीक उल्टा चलता है हमारा. You are willing to spend your nose at foundation courses or test series में. Okay. That's why I'll make the test difficult. दो के बाद कहाँ लिखेगा यार, छोड़ देगा ये. Okay. That's why I'm calling it as a scam. You guys be aware of that. Your learning will not happen till you write the tests properly. And I'm game. I'm happy checking, I'm happy evaluating, giving feedback. Okay. But feedback का अच्छा होगा if you have done some bit of writing पहले. ठीक है? So ऐसे आपके, and there's nothing to hide. There are 15. In fact, I will divide them. These 10 questions are L1, L2. Like a question like, what is social well-being? What is its role in sustainable development? लिख लेंगे ना आप लोग, I believe. You can think on this, read some pages, no problem. I'll call this as L1, L2 questions. A question like, what is optimum population? Okay, and discuss how optimum population also is important in terms of impact on environment. आप लिख लोगे, no issues there. Okay, what's optimum? Define it. Okay. A question like, what is India's tribal diversity and how has it been impacted by migration? Give examples. I don't think that these are tough questions. That's why I'm calling them as L2, L3, L1 questions. But a question like, okay, migration is an equilibrium that operates through transfer of labor from labor surplus to labor deficit. Okay, give your opinion. Is all migration because of labor deficit? No. How can you say yes? Question बोल रहा है, migration is an equilibrium that operates through transfer of labor from labor surplus towards labor deficit regions. Give your opinion. Yes, it's right, as long as the migrations are economically motivated. It's right if I look at rural to urban migration, where migration is because of employment reasons. Such type of migrations has happened in industrial revolution times. It has happened in the demographic transition from stage 2 towards stage 3. These type of migrations happen in mega cities, in larger towns. However, not all migration is an example of labor balance equilibrium. There are migrations because of persecution, migrations because of climate change, migrations related to compulsions, okay, of family and cultural factors. In India, we have identified 5 types of migrations. Okay, say think of migrations because of marriage, वो इसमें नहीं आएगा. Migrations because of education, वो भी इसमें नहीं आएगा. Moved at birth, वो भी इसमें नहीं आएगा. So now a concept मैंने जोड़ दिया with whatever I have read. Conclusion is, yes, okay, the traditional economic models of migration can be explained like this. Okay, where migration is because of the pull and the push factors of poverty and employment, but there are other reasons which don't explain the labor equilibrium theory. Done answer? That's what I mean by thinking questions. ठीक है? So आप सोचेंगे, कुछ jottings बनाएंगे, and I'll discuss in the class also. Okay, and then you will try writing down something, and then we are on. ठीक है, all of you? So be okay with this approach, and you'll get used to it. And एक और चीज है, when a course starts off, initial couple of weeks is a bit of a, you can say, confusion, a bit of a lack of confidence, a bit of struggle, because नया approach है. Hang on with me, okay, for the entire duration. Even if you do a bad work, end of the course, you will still be better off than somebody who has not done at all. You cannot look for perfection in your preparation. But कम से कम expose हो जाएंगे, you will understand the questions, we'll discuss some writing, and we are on. ठीक है? Now, one strong, I'll call this as a ruling. Okay, it's my ruling, my rule here. You will not shift your tests. I will not entertain a single request on, sir, मैं test दे नहीं पाया, बाद में दे दूंगा. I'm not going to do that anymore. Till last time I was doing it, and it's been a headache for me. Because क्या होता है ना, आप लोग अपने मर्जी से लिखते हो फिर. I am checking test 3, आ गया test 1. My team is checking test 3. Okay, and then sir मैंने तो दे दिया था 1 महीने पहले. Okay, अब test 4 का time आ चुका है. Okay, and anybody who does not submit on time, फिर आप अपने आप manage करो. And time, I'll give you 2 days. 48 hours आपको दे देंगे. या तो हमारे साथ बैठ के लिखो, बेचारे encourage, या फिर घर में कॉपी भी करना है, कॉपी के लिए कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. I want the writing to happen. And you will submit. और 48 hours में, if you can't squeeze out 3 hours, फिर तो serious problem in the preparation. इससे ज्यादा I can't give you flexibility. ठीक है? So I will not entertain a single request. Okay? And the worst request is, सर किसी और इंस्टीट्यूट में टेस्ट चल रहा है, आप वाला शिफ्ट करा दे ना. मैं इसको ईगो पे ले लेता हूं. Okay? अगर शिफ्ट कराना ही है तो मैं क्यों करूं? Okay? उनको जाके बोलो, whoever they are. सब वो सुनते नहीं है. अरे मैं ही मिला था फिर आपको. ठीक है? So I am not going to be lenient here. Not that I want to punish you. Okay, I can't punish you, to be very honest. Essentially, it's a matter of discipline. That's all. If you cannot do it now, you cannot do it afterwards either. In fact, pata hai, a very straight mentality. If I'm really that type of, trust me. Of the people who tell me, sir, I can't give the test now, मैं बाद में दे दूं. If I tell yes, no, trust me, less than 10% of you will submit. आप लिख ही नहीं सकते. And that's good for me, no? If you don't write, I've made money out of you. अगर लिख दिया तो मेरा खर्चा हो रहा है. Problem ये है. So if actually I allow you, no, आप नहीं लिखोगे, मुझे पता है. Because if you cannot do under pressure, you cannot do on your own either. Okay, but I don't want to go that route. We'll maintain a discipline. You've got 48 hours. You can write if you want to write down. You'll find a way. And I'm giving this leniency. Okay, आप घर में copy भी करो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. You'll still learn better then. But we'll follow some format of what type of answer you write down. Okay, good, nice, Radhika. Happy to have you. Okay, Narendra. Yeah, we'll follow that method. Okay, fine. We will do that. Okay. You can submit your practice tests. That's okay. But I will not check the practice tests because आपको answer दे रहे हैं, discussion में करा लिया. I mean, it's too much of a burden. और एक और problem, see, with the evaluation that we do, I have a very small team, to be very, very honest. It's not a manufacturing center for me. A very small team that gets trained over some time. Okay, and most of the evaluators are students like you, a bit more senior maybe, and the only reason they do it with me is सर आपके साथ हम सीख लेंगे. Okay, and it's an open for all of you also. Once the course gets over and you are in command of the content, I'll recommend come and work as evaluators. But the intention of learning, when you evaluate, you have a very different perspective of कि क्या mistakes हो रहा है. Okay, and one more reason people evaluate is they want to earn some extra money. That's perfectly fine, no issues there. But if you want to make a career out of it, then I'm not the right person. I will not pay you properly. I mean, I'll pay you the base amount. आपका room का खर्चा निकल जाना चाहिए. That's all. Ultimately, I want कि आप qualify करो. And I have got a tremendous record in these type of students. Okay, about 17, 18 of them have qualified out of team of about 25 of them. They all have qualified. Okay, so what I'm telling you is, this team is a very small team because writing skills is something that's difficult to teach. Okay, and I can't, if you give me too many of that, फिर ये काम नहीं कर पाएंगे. There's just 3, 4, 5 of them who are working with me, and that too, one round of review, second round of review. Okay, some answer writing by them, some checking. So it's becomes tedious for them. I know the institutes where there are a long library of resource there. मेरे पास ऐसा है नहीं. That's why I want to maintain a time schedule, a proper method of writing, and we give you honest feedback for whatever. And I will not check all your papers. I will pick up some scripts for reviews. After evaluation, come and ask me, sir, समझ में नहीं आया, I'll discuss whatever I can. ठीक है? Yeah, I'm being very candid here, nothing to, but the core is learn from us and practice as much as you can. ठीक है? Okay, so I've set the tone more or less. Let's start with a population geography. Okay, your first unit. Isha, it's the whole package together. You'll see. Wait for 2, 3 classes. You'll get a hang of what I'm doing. Okay. Now, I'm presuming you know your syllabus. Okay, syllabus. Keywords. Okay. This is paper 1. This is a unit 8. Okay, and paper 1, you have topics like world ka, growth of population, distribution of population, the concept of optimum population, the concept of migrations, population, and problems. Plus, we also have theories of population. In fact, theories should have been here as a part of growth. We have Malthus theory, we have Marx theory, and we have demographic transition theory. Okay, growth of population, the world distribution, optimum population kya hai, overpopulation, underpopulation. Even if you know this, please write it down. Okay, migration. What are the trends of migration? What are the consequences of migration? What are the causes of migration? What are the problems of population? And it also mentions social well-being, and you also have population as social capital. So I didn't teach anything, okay? I didn't add anything there. I just said the population geography includes some topics of geographical thought, which is human development and also cultural regions. And in economic geography, we have problems of food, hunger, famines, inequalities and poverty, and you also have development issues. Because in this unit of population is one topic called as problems. ये problems में क्या आएगा? Problems are hunger problems, problems are conflicts, problems are inequalities, and solutions includes some bit of social well-being and population development and so on. Yes, so limits to growth is one aspect, of course, limits to growth also. So this is all the population discussion put under one box. Okay. So when I teach, I'll teach all of this together. And in paper 2, it's all applied aspects of paper 1. Paper 2 mein India's population growth, India's population distribution, India's population attributes. यहाँ पर sex ratio, literacy rates, dependency ratio. You have some discussions related to aging population. Okay, so attributes. Yes, you can also add longevity. Okay, इसके अलावा population and cultural aspects, cultural diversity. Cultural में linguistic है, cultural में religion है. Now I think a very important dimension ये पूछा नहीं है, but you have to be ready with something on caste issues also. Although it's an uncomfortable topic for the government, but you never know कैसे पूछेगा. और नहीं भी पूछेगा, we'll find a way how to add something on caste dimensions also. Okay, so cultural aspects, then India's cultural regions, linguistic aspects. Apart from this, India mein the tribal diversity, the tribal problems, tribal programs. Okay, so all of this is part of your paper 2. Paper 2 ka cultural aspects. Yes, Ujjwal, absolutely. All the classes will be conducted on your dashboard. Abhi we are opening it up for all of you, okay, to get used to this. Okay, all of you done here? So I will show the syllabus to you and see if the syllabus now makes sense. So from geographical thought, yeah, it's the same one that many of you have seen earlier. From geographical thought topics, we have religion. Let me sit down here. Geographical thought topics, we have religion. Something on this also dekhte hain. Languages, human development and cultural regions of the world. The geographical thought topics I have taught along with your topics of population. Then Unit 8, Population and Settlement Geography mein, under population, migration, underpopulation, optimum population, growth of population, distribution, theories of population, world problems of population, demographic attributes, social well-being and social capital. Population and social capital. Okay? If you look at paper 2, Unit 6 है paper 2 में, historical perspectives of Indian society. Historical perspective. इससे नहीं उठ रहा डंबल. Okay. Historical perspective of Indian society. Racial, I forgot to mention racial. Racial, linguistic, ethnic, religious minorities, major tribes, tribal areas, the problems, cultural regions, growth of population, density of distribution, demographic attributes में sex ratio, age structure, literacy rates, workforce, dependency, longevity, migration, I again didn't mention migration, and problems of population and policies and health issues. Okay, this is the scope of your syllabus. Now, if you look at the questions asked, okay, let me read out the questions once. Some of you have, you all listen to the questions, and I'll expect it's nice if back in your room, ये questions लिख लो पूरा बैठ के. Okay, in the class if I had, will take too much of time. Okay, but you must write down अपने handwriting में. You know, write down the questions, you will have a sense of insights. अच्छा ऐसा पूछ रहा है. Look at the question. One question was, discuss critically food and nutrition problems associated with developing world. Okay. एक और, this is 23 question paper. Discuss food and nutrition problems associated with developing world. एक और है, a human migration is a balance between push and pull factors. एक और question है, Malthusian theory has been discredited. Justify. Different types of polarization induced inequalities. Relationship between gender equity and human development. Explain population resource development in the context of limits to growth. Discuss demographic transition and the reflection of uneven economic development. Okay, so these are the questions. One was on food nutrition, one was on Malthusian aspect, one was on migration push-pull factors, one was on inequalities, one was to link population with environment problems and problems of inequalities, limits to growth, and one was on demographic transition and uneven economic development. Okay. सुन के आपको क्या लग रहा है, किस थीम से पूछा जा रहा है? Anybody can tell me? Food, nutrition, hunger, Malthusian, migration issues, problems related to inequalities, environment aspects, demographic transition. Okay. तो आपको क्या थीम लग रहा है डोमिनेंट है? Yeah? Agriculture. Okay, let me try again. Look at another question. That will set na ki padhna kya hai. Okay, this was 23 question. Okay, last year's ka. Look at these questions. Overcrowding, shortage of housing, migration, push-pull factors, aging population and their consequence, mobility and migration and consequences in urban-rural migration, Malthusian and population growth, resource and environment, population transition and socioeconomic development, okay, a true replacement level and NNR, problems of aging population, forced migration in the context of recent times, quality of life and examples, life expectancy and the challenges faced. क्या थीम आ रहा है बताओ largely? Most questions, all questions are around problems of population and something about the solutions. That's the theme. I hope you got the point here. So it's very important कि एग्जाम का ना आप वो नर्व पकड़ो कि क्या पूछने वाला है. So any discussion we have, growth of population, tell me the problems, consequences, solution. Distribution, problems, causes, consequences and solutions. Migration, क्या problems हैं, क्या reasons हैं, क्या solutions होगा. Inequality, food hunger अपने आप में problem है. Aging population, one challenge issue है. You talk in context of human development, क्या challenges है. Women issues, क्या problems हैं. So recurrent theme in population is issues around problems, issues around challenges, okay, plus इसका cause क्या होगा और इसका solution क्या है. Solution is become part of your development issues. So first capture this part. Population theory, optimum population, okay, theories of migrations, concept of social well-being, okay, cultural aspects in the context of say tribal population. This is only different aspects of problems or solutions. Okay, so cultural diversity, बताओ challenges क्या है. Migrations, बताओ challenges क्या है. Caste, religion, बताओ challenges क्या है. So every theme of population ultimately must move towards some challenge. Okay, problems of population, how does Malthus explain? Problems of population, how does demographic transition explain? Problems of population, how does optimum population explain? Okay. Social well-being, how is that a solution towards problems? Theme आपका यही चल रहा है everywhere. Is it okay, all of you? So whenever you prepare population, you prepare from a dimension of what problems they create, what type of challenges they pose, and how can we solve it. That's one learning for all of you. And my request to all of you, believe me, पूरा पढ़ने का तरीका change हो जाएगा. It's not about mechanically memorizing what is Malthus theory. Tell us how Malthus theory helps us appreciate why do we have the problems. Can Malthusian philosophy be used to solve problems of population? Can Malthus ideas are relevant to today's problems or not? So problem se link karo always. Okay? Now, in population, in fact, ये बहुत जगह काम आने वाला है. In population, so what you do is, this is your study ka approach. There are some concepts. Okay, I'll make a list of. Kul mila ke there are 18, 19 concepts you must know in population. There are some concepts. In support of the concepts, there are certain specifics. Specific का मतलब क्या है? कोई data होगा. There is some, facts are there. Specifics includes regional patterns. The concept called as human development. Koi data batao, koi facts batao, and give me a pattern of how development is across India, across the world. Take up anything. Malthusian. Give me some data about Malthusian issues, Malthusian positive checks, Malthusian contraceptive based negative checks. Patterns batao, which part of the world probably has Malthusian relevance and why. So specifics are these. And then there are applied aspects in terms of solutions and programs. आपको अभी से ना population का 2-3 programs के बारे में जानना चाहिए. Like say in India, okay, the program of population called as Skilling Mission of India. Okay, one solution is probably your now new pension scheme of India. It's a very important part of the answer on aging population, no? Pension schemes. Okay, one program is your aging population ka insurance. Okay, Bima Yojana. Okay, for the old population. One program could be Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. That could be one scheme. Okay, Annapurna scheme. Okay, we have Antodaya scheme, Food for Work scheme. Yes, so you have to know 7-8 such programs ताकि answer में आप apply कर पाओ. And not just for India, you can pick up some examples from the world also. How is Africa dealing with problems of epidemics and health issues? How are we dealing with problems of inequalities in the world? Maybe in terms of agriculture support, in terms of migration policies, हम क्या कर रहे हैं? Today, a very big issue is global migration, right? How is the world trying to solve that, if any? So, population का ये 3 vertical columns. Concepts include Malthusian concept, Marx concept, optimum population concept, limits to growth concept, the concept of your Ravenstein's theory, the concept of least migration theory, the concept of development itself, what does it mean, the concept of social well-being itself. The foundation classes mein, this is where you are, and you know some bit of this, but integrate karna into answer is what I will discuss and learn on. ठीक है? All fine? Yes, yes. Now, in the specifics, ये एक बहुत important aspect है. Regional patterns. Somewhere in your geography notes हो, answer paper हो, इसको ध्यान में रखना है. Any question, look at the answer from the perspective of world regions and look at the answer from the perspective of regions in India. Okay, anything. Longevity, world pattern, India pattern. Sex ratio, world pattern, India pattern. We talk about problems of, okay, say migration, world pattern, India's pattern. हर चीज में ये region origin आएगा, you have to have a map. Map is a must. ठीक है? Yeah, map is a must. Without maps, you do not, okay, complement the understanding of the regional distribution. Yes, cultural regions, world region, Indian region. Language, world pattern, Indian linguistic regions. Har cheez, every concept will have a pattern of the regions. So if it's like this, so when you are, any question given to you, ये आपका फॉर्मेट होगा. रिकॉल, ये किस कंसेप्ट से रिलेटेड है, और कैन यू ऐड सम कंसेप्ट्स और नॉट. जैसे कि द मोमेंट आई आस्क्ड द क्वेश्चन, नो, दैट कैन वी डिस्कस माइग्रेशन इन टर्म्स ऑफ, ओके, द लेबर बैलेंस. सो आई एम थिंकिंग क्या कंसेप्ट होगा, लेबर बैलेंस, पुश पुल थ्योरी. क्या कंसेप्ट है, ज़ेलिंस्की's मोबिलिटी ट्रांजिशन थ्योरी. क्या कंसेप्ट होगा, देयर इज अ रेविनस्टाइन्स मॉडल that most migration are towards commercial centers and urban areas. ये concepts हो गया. ठीक है? So recall concepts. Okay. You will move on towards, I said, data and specifics. जो data याद है, okay, specifics में कुछ diagrams आ जाएंगे. There could be some schematics maybe. There could be some graphs maybe. Okay. You will think on the regional pattern. And all questions, ultimately, there is a dimension of problem, there is a dimension of challenge. A problem challenge hai, you must talk about solutions also. This is kind of a canvas for population answer writing. Kya concept hai batao? Okay. Give me some data specifics. And some regional pattern if you can, world में, India में, problem challenges related to it, वो पता बताया पूछेगा, and give me. This is your more or less the canvas for population, even settlements में काम आएगा आपको. All good? Okay. Now I'll take up some questions and we'll start applying this on this. Yeah, is it lagging for some of you online? Online, it's fine now, Pankaj? Okay. Is it better now? Yeah, it could be some connectivity issues. Okay, not something that I can see, but could be, it's fine now? Okay, fine. Okay. Now, I'm listing down, and aap batao whether you can recall these concepts or not. Now, you maintain pace with me. I'll quickly list down the topics for you one by one. Okay? And some of you have not done geography foundation with me. That's perfectly fine. My recommendation is you can probably ask your friends in the class to show the notes what I have covered. Otherwise, you can also take our class notes ke booklets. Okay, you can write to us, you can meet us offline. There are 3 booklets, okay, which you can refer to, and you can see whether some topics you can add or you can do some matching there. A workbook is no big deal. वो हम आपको ऐसे ही दे देंगे, okay, because those are 6-7 sheets. You must work on your own. I'm talking about the class notes. I don't want to sound cynical or don't read it that ways. देखो, one of the problems of teaching is that we are in a business, okay, where we teach, we also earn, okay, we want to have more students, we definitely want to have results. So unfortunately what happens is teachers start blaming each other. Okay, that is अरे वो टीचर ने वो नहीं पढ़ाया, okay, अब मैंने तो ज्यादा पढ़ाया, if you don't read this one, आप life बेकार है types. Okay, so the truth is every teacher, okay, will cover most topics plus or minus 5-10%. There could be 2 topics that I have taught and some other teacher has not taught. Maybe 2 topics that other teacher has taught and I have not taught. Because there is an element of subjectivity here. So it doesn't matter where you come from, okay. Don't get into that blame game. That's one. Number 2, again, it's a business compulsion. In trying to prove that we are good teachers, sometimes we start teaching topics unnecessarily which are complicated. Okay, we take it to a next level of discussion जो कि शायद जरूरी नहीं है. And in today's time, a chat GPT makes things very easy. Okay, question, and I can ask you the toughest of questions which nobody can answer. So your wisdom should be what I taught you in terms of trends. Don't get into unnecessarily making the topic difficult. Okay. Actually, the questions are very simple questions. You need to think a bit more rather than adding too many concepts. And I've seen there is a, I'll say there is a temptation to do this. To prove that I have taught more, I will unnecessarily teach more concepts and make the concept a very, very academic and, you know, पता नहीं किस level में चला जाएगा. Don't do that. Most concepts are very well from the syllabus. और आपको 2 या 3 बुक ही चाहिए. NCERT book चाहिए आपको. I'll tell you what parts of that NCERT. Human Geography by Majid Hussain. And if you are interested to do a bit more extra, Made a Simple Series Volume 2 is good enough. इसके beyond अगर question पूछा, be perfectly fine to leave it. And my belief is the range of questions I'll cover, I don't think I will miss too many questions. Okay, class discussions, practice answers, PYQ answers, plus sectional test, plus full length test. इसके beyond और आप क्या ही कर सकते हो बताओ? Yes, of course, Indian geography के लिए DR Khuller, correct. You can buy Khuller. Some of you have followed Majid Hussain. Whatever works for you, no issues. This is just an alert from my side. Don't unnecessarily get into tough and complicated questions. Okay, because आप खुद paper study करो. See the question paper. कैसे question? Very stupid questions. Okay, aging problems. Solutions बताओ. Women issues and how they are part of problems and solutions of population. Give a pattern of migration issues. Okay, across the world and whatever. Talk about inequalities, hunger issues, and food problems. Again, Malthusian, इसको थोड़ी बोलोगे high level concepts. They're regular concepts. It's just that they're treating it in a bit twisted way, and that too, I'll say they are not really very difficult either. You just have to expose yourself to a bit more of thinking type of preparation, that's all. Okay? Okay, so keeping that in mind, I'm quickly revising the concepts for you, and keep your pen paper handy. Okay, you keep jotting as I speak. Next class onwards, if you have your synopsis, bring that along with your class notes. You can tick off while I'm speaking. Okay? So concepts mein, the concept of population distribution. Population distribution. Okay. Now, it is uneven. Okay. Keywords, it's uneven. There are physical factors. There are human factors. Human factors, historical factors. Human factors, there can be deliberate policies. Human factors, conflict as a factor. Okay. Historical, jahan par log have been living for a longer time, definitely will have more population. Policies, migration policies, border policies. Okay. Policies ke under mein you can also include issues related to migration control and so on. And conflicts. You can talk about political, say persecution. Okay. And physical factors, population in river basins, population in the plains, population in tropical areas, vis-a-vis population of deserts, population of Arctic regions, mountains. Keep jotting as I speak. Okay. So you have an idea about the distribution ka reason kya hai. Okay. So conclusion here is that there are many factors. There are many factors, and the factors also interplay. No factor operates in isolation. There's the interplay of factors going on. We must not see the population distribution in terms of environmental determinism. ये गलत हो जाएगा. Reality में, more than physical factors, the human factors are more important. Okay. And today's world, okay, if you look at transportation, if you're looking at economic globalization, if you're looking at migration policies, including conflicts, Ukraine, today the bulk of Ukraine population are migrants, right? They're in Germany, they're in Hungary, they're in Belarus, in Poland, yes. A lot of population of Middle East, Syria, again in Europe. Okay, so if you look at conflicts, migrations, you have got concerns related to environment issues, transportation, the way we can. So these are today more important factors than the physical factors of climate, topography, which, however, cannot be ignored. कैसे ignore नहीं कर सकते? Okay, you bring in climate change. Climate change natural एक physical factor है. Climate change, forest fires, climate change, sea level rise, climate change, landslides and disasters, climate change and droughts. Today, these are also important factors in population distribution. Keep writing, please. I want your hand to move. I know that you know, but I also know you can't recall. ठीक है, ये सारा कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है, but आपको याद नहीं आने वाला लिखने के टाइम में. So keep writing. Keep writing. हाथ टूट जाए, we will let you know what you can do then. Okay. Your pen should keep on moving. End of the class, अगर 30-35 पेज भरा नहीं तो आपने लिखा नहीं. Okay. ठीक है? Yeah, I'm suffering. No, I'm speaking. So why should you be happy? Okay. You also suffer with me. My throat aches and your hand aches. Then we are even. ठीक है? You scratch my back, I scratch yours. ठीक है? So climate change. So when I'm discussing climate change, इसको क्या बोलेंगे? Climate change is a very interesting example of where human factors and physical factors are overlapping. Climate change देखने में तो physical लग रहा है, right? More rainfall, less rainfall, cyclones, landslides. But the roots of climate change are human aspects. ठीक है, climate change, forest fires, sea level rise, landslides, droughts, floods. Okay, so this is a good example or good instance of where physical factors are overlapping with the human aspects in deciding how the population gets distributed. Okay, so look at the first box. First block of concept पकड़ लिया आपने, ठीक है? Now I'll move towards, okay, the data, the specifics, and the regions. Data on the, now see, सारा data याद नहीं रहेगा, but at least can you tell us there are more population in tropical areas, the less population in mountainous areas and Arctic regions, Antarctic regions. There are more populations along the river plains, Ganga Basin, Indus Basin, Ubange Basin, Mississippi Basin. There are less populations in Alpine Belt, Himalayan region. इतना बता सकते हैं आप लोग? So when I come to the specifics, अब आप specific names के साथ बताओगे. Okay. So in general, hemispherical, एक north south का divide है. In general, there is a latitudinal pattern. Okay, population starts decreasing, okay, towards the poles. The maximum population that we have are in the tropical areas. In fact, some of the densest populations and the large population areas, regions are tropical countries. Okay, India, okay, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Southeast Asia, and includes subtropical China. बट यही तो मिलके हो गया, आधा वर्ल्ड पॉपुलेशन हो गया. बाकी जो है इंडियंस माइग्रेट कर रहे हैं. सो अगेन वी आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल देयर. ओके, सो देयर इज अ लैटिट्यूडनल पैटर्न एंड इसका बेस्ट एग्जांपल है द ट्रॉपिकल पैटर्न इन पॉपुलेशन. ओके, एंड आई बिलीव यू नो चाइना अबाउट 1.3, 1.4, इंडिया 1.4 एंड इंक्रीजिंग. ओके, पाकिस्तान, बांग्लादेश, Southeast Asia, कुल मिलाकर they are approximately 30 to 40% of इस सारा मिलाकर 30-40% of the world's population. Learn to approximate data. Exact data नहीं चाहिए. Exact data is approximate 28 point some %. I said कोई दिक्कत नहीं. We'll approximate it to this much. India and China alone is just less than about 40% of the world's population. ठीक है? So 30-40% of the world's population. This is one of the important primary pockets of the world. दिखा सकते हैं आप? इतना ही दिखा, nothing else. Okay. Now, can you mention there was a traditional Western Europe, which is Germany, France, Britain, Netherlands, and this was relatively also the more populated parts of Europe. Western Europe जो था. Why? Because of a development, industrial revolution. Why? Because of better quality of life. But in recent times, okay, this region has witnessed depopulation. I'm discussing regional patterns of where people are. The bulk of the people are in tropical areas. कुछ डेटा दिखा दिया आपने. Okay. Western Europe उठाओ, it had more people, but now declining. Okay, you make a guess कि कितना लोग होंगे यहाँ पर? 5, 10, 15% ऐसे कुछ होगा. Okay, put a number. Okay, about, give a range. You cannot go wrong. They had about 10-15% of population, and now it's declining. Okay, now these data comes from some bit of experience. कितना guess करें? How much can we take liberty with? Okay, can you mention that the pattern of distribution is impacted by migration trends? It's impacted by levels of development. It also is impacted by conflicts. अब इसमें example दे दो. Migration as a factor, we can see there's a lot of redistribution take up two areas of conflicts. Middle East towards Europe Okay. Eastern Europe towards Western Europe. We have shown migration, okay, how it can have redistribution. Levels of development, okay, lot of population from rural to urban areas. Development, lot of migrations towards the new world of New Zealand and Canada and US also. Yeah, because of development, you also have policies encouraging migration. And conflicts I've discussed along with migration itself. So some specifics sprinkle karo. Okay. So there is. Now if I summarize all of this, how does the regional pattern look like at the world level? Okay. 2-3 points. It looks like what? Asia is very large. It has 60% of the world. Asia large, 60% of the world. Okay. Tropical areas continue to have, okay, more than 70% of the world's population. Ye patterns hain. Patterns, there is a rapid urbanization. Rapid urbanization, based population redistribution. Jitne bhi urban areas hain, they have more population. Okay. Global pattern. Global pattern mein, okay, Africa is an interesting case. मैं अलग से डिस्कस करूंगा अफ्रीका को. Africa interesting case. As of now, okay, Africa has relatively lesser population. Africa is almost entirely in the tropical belt. Africa has bulk of agriculture dependent economy. Okay. Africa's less population is because of higher mortality rates. Okay. In the future, Africa will have more population. Africa's population can increase to almost 17 to 20% of the world's population. So one paragraph on Africa's case in population distribution. I'm sure you all know these points. I'm just quickly revising it for you. कि population distribution आप कैसे पढ़ेंगे, ठीक है? And Africa के अंदर we can discuss how the populations are moving out of the areas of desertification of Sahel, how Africa is seeing out migration from the conflict areas of Central Africa, how in Africa, okay, we have populations moving towards South Africa, towards Nigeria, which are pockets of more development, right? Yeah, it will become more. No, now it's not 20%. Now it's around, I think, 13-15%. It will increase to around 17-18, and around that off to 20%. Yes, Pankaj, correct. That's what I mean by command on the content. Okay. Now, a discussion go, say I take it towards India. India's distribution. Okay. So, like the world, India also uneven. Like the world's population, there are physical factors, there are human factors. Okay. Physical factors, Ladakh less. Western dry regions has less population. Hill regions has less population. Okay. The bulk of the populations are in the plains, northern plains, coastal plains, along the river basins. Okay. We have a lot of populations, okay, in the urban areas. Okay. We have more populations in industrial regions. Okay. Human factor mein, areas which have more agriculture, higher TFR rates, lower levels of women development, they have a higher growth rates historically, and also they have a higher population concentrations. So I have good nice one paragraph that India's population distribution, okay, originally reflects physical control. Northern plains has more population, agriculture hai, water hai, river hai, okay, and we have lesser population in parts of the dry regions, desert regions, mountains, and so on. However, there is a very important play of, okay, a human factors also. A human factors in what sense? Poverty, agriculture, okay, meta-son preference, lower levels of women reproductive rights, okay, feudal cultures. So what does this do is, this results in higher TFR. Okay, historically, Bihar has TFR of more than 3.5, up, now reducing rapidly. UP has TFR of more than 3, now reducing rapidly. Okay, same for Rajasthan, MP. That's why the northern states, Rajasthan, UP, Bihar, MP, okay, and Bengal, they have the bulk of the India's population concentration. So I've included physical and human factors. That's one discussion. Then you can say that population distribution has also changed, okay, in the recent times with the emergence of new centers of commerce, with the emergence of, okay, new centers of urban development. Okay, so shift of population towards urban pockets, industrial regions, emergence of Bangalore as a region. Okay, recent times mein growth of tier 2 cities. Okay, so growth of tier 2 cities. Okay, there is growth, continued growth of mega cities, continuous out migrations from hill areas, northeast regions. So India's distribution is continuing to change rapidly. And at a point, however, okay, there are problems of conflicts, linguistic conflicts, ethnic conflicts. Okay, there are problems of cultural conflicts which can impact the future distribution also. Okay, and at a point, as India gets more and more globalized, where India has more labor mobility, India has more labor mobility. Okay. So India has been and will remain a major source regions of population. World migrants mein India is among the highest, okay, out migrants. So India's population distribution will also be impacted by global migration trends. Impacted by global migration trends. Give examples: Indians, Middle East, Indians, US, Western Europe, Indians towards Canada. Map banakar show that. Okay. Yes, वो एक और point है. You can talk about India's population distribution will also be impacted by regional conflicts. Okay, you know, escaping poverty, ethnic, okay, cleansing, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Pakistan economic issues. Okay, India mein you can also have population from the neighboring countries. So the discussion point here was that India's population distribution is a dynamic one and it changes very rapidly. Okay, some factors which have encouraged more even distribution and some factors which have encouraged more and more concentration also. Fine, all of you? So I have discussed some concepts. वो data, जहाँ states का नाम लिया, you have got regional pattern now. And move towards solutions. You will refer to solutions of, okay, you know, refugee rights, solutions related to solutions mein refugee rights, solutions related to, okay, migration, population distribution, and federal provisions. Federal provisions, okay, to protect the concerns and interests of migrant workers. Population is a state subject. I hope you know this. Right? So we need some federal provisions where, okay, Kerala can take care of migrants of northern India. Tamil Nadu can take care of agricultural migrants. Different states can take care of tribal migrants. Okay, and so on. As of now, we don't have a policy on this, but so I've taken care of population distribution and population patterns of the world. Now, a question likho aap, write down a question. Write a question. How much of population distribution patterns can be attributed to, how much of population distribution patterns can be attributed to conscious agency of human choices. Conscious agency of human choices. Illustrate with examples. Illustrate with examples. How much of distribution of the population can attribute to the conscious agency of human choice? का मतलब क्या है? Where people are, where people migrate to, where we have less people, where we have more people. How much of that is a consequence of where we choose to live? Okay, give examples. अगर समझ में आया question, then you're on. आप बताओ. Okay, how much is our human choice? Okay, essentially debate on, is population distribution, okay, a consequence of physical factors or human factors? Both, but bhari kaun sa hai? Human factors. And then you can add, okay, that lot of recent times mein, even if it looks like a human factor, it's actually forced, because there are forced migrations also. Forced migration is not human choice. Okay. When I say human choice, I'm talking about voluntary. Like I'm talking about conscious choice for development and growth. Other factors, physical factors, other factors of forced migration, conflicts, ये भी choice नहीं है. हमारा question here, all of you? हाँ, वो human factor तो है. See, conflicts are human factors, but the choice of migration is actually not a voluntary choice. So human factor may be, there is a voluntary choice. Yes, I want to migrate, it's good for me. And second, I don't want to migrate, but I have got no other choice but to migrate. So escaping persecution is not a human choice. Left, करना ही पड़ेगा आपको. Escaping extreme poverty, not a human choice. Escaping sea level rise and submergence is not a human choice. So दिखने में लगता है कि I am choosing, but maybe it is still forced. So it's about how you interpret it. आप कितने डेप्थ में जाना चाहते हैं. Got the question, all of you here? अच्छा, now, this is a format, all of you know I discuss it that ways. This is a rule that we will start to apply. Let no answer be more than 2.5 page. आप छोटा लिखो, बड़ा लिखो, whatever. Try packing. 2.5 page means let the answer be not more than 150 to 250 words. इसके अंदर रखो खेल. वो 15 मार्क का हो, 20 मार्क का हो, 30 मार्क का हो, आप इसके अंदर रखो. That's one rule. Second rule is every page try to have a diagram. And diagram can be of three types. A diagram can be a graph, a diagram can be a map, a diagram can be a schematic, a flow chart. Page is not sheet. This is a sheet. It has page 1 and page 2. When I say 2 page, I mean page 1 and page 2. Maximum another half page. Okay? Every answer, try to have one diagram her page mein. And for heaven's sake, let the diagram not be in a corner. When you draw a diagram, अच्छा सा small box में, you draw the diagram, put some labeling, name the diagram, in the answer refer to as in the diagram above, as in the diagram below. Okay. The diagram must have some detailing. कुछ mark किया, कुछ detail दिखाया. So think on the diagram you want to use. Okay, which is okay, a conscious choice you'll make. Okay. अच्छा, इसके अलावा let your answer be a mix of paragraphs and bullets. My recommendation, bullets be avoid using one word bullets. So this is a paragraph, this is a bullet. I am recommending paragraph, bullet, maybe 2-3 words or one sentence. 2-3 words, one sentence. Okay. Don't make your answer a list of points. फिर ये answer नहीं रहा. Okay. Paragraphs and let the answer have more of bullets. तो आप क्या करो? Beginning एक paragraph से करो, end एक paragraph से करो. A paragraph is 2-3-4 lines. बीच में एक और पैराग्राफ डाल देना, मे बी सेकेंड पेज में इफ यू कैन. बाकी को बुलेट, लाइन, वन सेंटेंस, बुलेट, वन सेंटेंस. दिस व्हाट आई कॉल एज टेलीस्कोपिक राइटिंग. ओके. दे विल नॉट चेक योर ग्रामर, सिंटैक्स, सेंटेंस नहीं देख रहे हैं. दे आर चेकिंग कि आपके आंसर में पॉइंट्स है या नहीं है. अच्छा. Another recommendation to you is, let the answer have 1 or 2 subheadings. Subheadings that establishes the discussion element. कि discuss क्या करना चाहते हो. Okay. So distribution as a factor of physical factors. Okay. A heading बना. Distribution in terms of human factors. Heading. The root factor may be physical or human, okay, but most distribution are not conscious choices. That's a heading. Ram, handwriting is not good. You cannot do much. होता क्या है इन handwritings में? All of you identify that there are 2, 3, 4 letters जो आप ठीक से लिखते नहीं हो. Okay, so some of you can't differentiate T from E, okay, from I. Your G is also here, your H is also here. ठीक है? So identify those letters and accentuate that. Okay, जैसे अगर I है तो I रखो, okay, with a dot. E है तो proper E, L है तो लंबा करो, G है तो take it down. There are 6-7 letters which trouble you. Work on those. Otherwise handwriting नहीं होने वाला. but yes, make sure it is legible. Okay, so I repeat, answer not more than 2.5 page maximum. Every page must have some illustration diagram. Make sure you write telescopic wala, not too many paragraphs. Okay, try putting them in some bullets. Then I said, make sure that you have given headings. Okay. Every answer, make sure you are using some data, percentage, facts. Okay. Maybe one regional map. Regional map is something I will encourage. Iska aadar dalo. Don't make map of India. You make map of UP. Make map of West Bengal. Make a map of Northeast India. So if I am showing distribution, okay, I will approximately show this. Okay, I will do this. I will show the northeastern population. Okay, then I'll show how the migration happens from here into this, or from here into this. This is the Bundelkhand region, from here into this or towards this. Okay, West Bengal population, northeastern Assam, Meghalaya into this. Tea gardens here, industrial regions along Damodar region. So migrations into this. You need to study 2 or 3 states. Okay, UP is a good one. Bihar, Bengal, South mein Kerala is easy to draw, one elongated one. Andhra you can try. Maharashtra is a good one, you can't mistake. Gujarat is India's capital state. Okay, so ye to karna hi padega aapko. You don't have a choice. Okay, you run the risk of Maharashtra. So 3-4 states go, and your own state to pakka karo control. When I say state, you must know at least 2 or 3 districts. Hum karte kara denge aap, don't worry, I'll do some of it, but you have to be conscious there. So tell us how migrations, okay, are matter of choice or not. A case study of migrations from northeast, say conflict areas of Manipur. Uske baare mein batao aap. ठीक है? अच्छा, now for the question I gave you, a typical structure कैसा होगा? The structure of the answer. Okay, structure is the introduction. Avoid introductions of definitions. Is the most useless type of introductions. You're only wasting a word. Straight away hit that population distribution is uneven. Okay. There are factors of human aspects, physical aspects that determine where people live and work. Okay. Most laws of migrations explain population distribution as a consequence of source region factors or whatever. One paragraph on कि population uneven hai. Establish that. You can have a schematic जिसमें कि factors को listing करो and highlight which are the one which are because of conscious choice and which are not because of choice. क्वेश्चन यही था ना कि बताओ चॉइस में है कि नहीं. So I'll make a factor, say migration. These are the physical factors. These are the human factors. So human factors में these, they are choice factors. These are force factors. Recent trends 1, 2, 3, 4. These are more choice factors or whatever you want. So diagrams में make sure कुछ question आ जाना चाहिए. And my my recommendation is intro and diagram पढ़ के the examiner must know that you have understood the question and you are answering the question. That's only possible when you are using the keywords of the question. Keywords क्या है question के? Tell us distribution. How much of it is the consequence of active agency of human choice? Okay, so factors of distribution यहाँ आ गया. यहाँ पर okay, factors and different agencies of human choice. ठीक है? So one schematic is done. Then okay, factors related to human choice. Discuss something here. Then factors not related to human choice. Okay, which are forced migrations. Historical factors of inertia, because people live there, people have been living there. Okay, factors of human choice, factors of non-choice. Okay. Recent trends in population distribution. Recent trends of population distribution. Recent and future बताओ. Now you tell me what do you think? आगे चल के will we have more choice or less choice? What's your analysis? Less choice. Why do you say so? Because of policies of closed economies, policies of restricting migrants. अभी कल परसों आया, Germany is going to suspend the Schengen visa, where people can move in and out of Germany very easily. Okay, more migration because of climate-induced push factors. Looks like we'll have more and more conflicts. Okay, and even technology like AI and 3D printing and maybe even remote working can again will restrict our mobility. हम भी move नहीं करेंगे हम. Okay, so you tell me. Okay, the future में following are no choice, 1-2 points, and following will be a choice of because maybe technology will help us. Okay, working remote. Okay, 3D printing will restrict the need of labor mobility. I'm thinking aloud, whatever you think. Okay, so present क्या है और this is a future dimension. Fine. Yeah, no choice में आ जाएगा. Conflicts, ethnic, linguistic, racial aspects also. Give an example. Absolutely. Close borders approach जो है. Some countries may go for active choosing. Fine, that's okay. Okay, and the answer towards these factors keep changing. These factors will keep on depending on the conditions, and we need to have some program, some protection for migrants and so on. You are done. So what I have done in this answer, you have a diagram. I've mentioned regions, I've given headings, and I have an applied conclusion that we have to take care of migrants. We have to ensure that conflicts are lesser. We need global governance of human trafficking issues. That's about it. Okay. Okay, let's move on. talking about population growth now. Back in your room or आज ही करना. Whatever I have discussed, check from your class notes jaldi se. Whatever you can add, okay, maybe do some jottings so that this topic is done. Okay, come towards growth of population. So, Malthus ecological theory, Malthus biological theory, relationship of food, land, and reproduction instincts. Okay. Geometrical growth of population versus the arithmetic growth of food. Positive checks, which are mortality based. Okay. Crowding, epidemics, hunger, famines. Malthus is not encouraging of the negative checks. What do negative checks do? Negative checks control rates of fertility. Negative checks control fertility rates. He doesn't talk about that much. He says they are vices or they are difficult to practice, contraceptives, okay, problems of sexual restraint, okay, they are sins, okay. So negative checks not considered. And this is a pessimistic theory. Okay. Pessimistic theory, it is a keywords hai. They are anti-pronatalist approach. Anti-pronatalist, as in against population size, against higher birth rates. Malthus challenging, okay, the traditional idea of population as a resource. Okay. Industrial revolution में population was workforce. Agriculture में population is a productive labor. Empire building में population provided with armies. ठीक है? So Malthus is challenging the traditional notions of, okay, population as a resource. He says no, populations can become liabilities because food cannot grow as fast as numbers can multiply. Okay, so he is predicting a collapse. But then we add a point here that Malthus is actually more of a wisdom rather than a prediction. Yes, Sajrit, you're right. It's more of a wisdom. And the wisdom expands into the new Malthusian domains. That population must be limited not just in terms of food, but in terms of environmental carrying capacity. Okay. A population must not outgrow, okay, technology, must not outgrow, okay, ability of the earth to provide drinking water, okay, forest resources. That way it is more of an alert. Yes, more of an alert. It's more of a wisdom, okay, rather than a prediction. Okay. But three problems that Malthus does not talk about poverty as a consequence of inequalities. He sees poverty because of resource shortage. Reality में क्या है? Poverty is related to inequalities. ये ignore कर देते हैं. Therefore, it looks like Malthus is blaming the poor for the growth. He's blaming the poor for the growth of population. And third, he does not see solutions like Green Revolution, solutions like migration avenues. Okay, so for him, the population growth and poverty, okay, are related, but more in terms of resource shortage, not in terms of inequalities. Okay, he sees there is no solution in technology and migration, and he blames and yes, okay, in his approach, Malthus is capitalist. Capitalist, although, okay, he is not dismissive of poverty, but then he does not see the poor population as addressing the problems. हो जाएगा discussion आपका? So I'm just giving you quick points to help you recall, maybe revise. Yeah, so Malthus. Okay. Then what does Marx tell us? Marx is anti-Malthus. Marx is anti-capitalism. Marx is looking at population problems from the perspective of, okay, capitalist exploitation. Capital exploitation. He says the problem is, okay, not resource shortage. The problem is the twin evils of class divide and private property. The twin evils of, the twin problems of, okay, class divide and private property. For Marx, the solution is a communist redistribution. For Marx, the solution is, okay, modes of production owned by the labor class, by the farmer class. So if Malthus was, the question to you, Malthus was anti-pronatalist, can I call Marx as pronatalist? Can we call Marx as pronatalist? No. Marx also talks about control of population. Marx is not encouraging high birth rates. Marx only says birth rate control tab hoga when you manage your resources better. So do not call Marx as pro-natalist. In fact, Marx was among the first scholars to talk about that population must be controlled. There must be resource balance. But resource balance under communist systems of ownership of resource. So Marx also says numbers reduce करना है, but कैसे करना है? Okay, not by the inevitable positive checks. Okay, so Marx does not believe in the inevitability of positive checks. Okay, for Marx, the solution lies in wealth redistribution, and for Marx, the solution is violent struggle, the radical methods. For Marx, population if well organized, is a resource. ठीक है? But there are 3 limitations of marks. That it's a theory around a critique of capitalism rather than a theory of actual population development. The theory of as a critique of capitalism. उनके लिए सारा problem capitalism ही है. And in reality we find that well-managed capitalist countries have done better work at population management than communist countries. Okay. China is what? China is what? China is capitalist, but with a political system that is communism. Okay. Economics में, yes, China is a capitalist. Investments, growth, cheap labor, mass production, ये सब capitalism के signs हैं. Okay. But the political system is one party rule and a communist party. So it is not actually the original communism which Marx was talking about. Okay. So if you see, capitalism has done better work in population management, okay, compared to communist. ठीक है? So that's one. Second issue is a Marx theory does not talk about how to deal with poverty. Poverty, because poverty solutions is also about expanding production. ये बहुत पुराना कहावत है ना, that if you are poor and distribution करोगे, you can distribute poverty. You have to talk about production increase also. So Marx does not talk about how to increase production to deal with poverty. For him, solution is just, okay, change ownership of resources. But in reality, that is not the actual solution. The third problem of Marx is that he does not talk about the role of technology. A role of technology in increasing food, in increasing production. In fact, Marx theory में machines are reasons for, okay, joblessness. Machines displace labor. Okay. So hardcore Marxist में, okay, machines are the reasons of decline of real wage. Machines are reasons for, okay, labor surplus. Machines responsible for increasing poverty. So ये 2-3 problems हैं of Marxian theory. But verdict is that the idea of redistribution is a good notion. Okay. Ownership, rights on land, water, forests, agriculture, it's a good idea in dealing with poverty. That's one. Second, for Marx, there are different dimensions of poverty. Poverty is hunger, homelessness. Okay. Poverty is lack of resource. Okay. So the solutions, जो socialist approach है, okay, the multi-dimensional poverty angle, that comes from Marx. Okay. So population problem is not only income poverty, it's also asset poverty, it's also problems of housing, it's also problems of social issues like education and health. ये dimension जो है ये मार्क्स से मिलता है. So socialist approach of, free education, free food, okay, this has its roots partly in Marxist ideas. So Marx's approach is, compared to Malthus, it is more holistic. But then technology issues bante hain, and it's too obsessed about capitalism. Marx too obsessed about capitalism. Okay, Marx's solutions are political in nature. They are not around technology. Who owns is more important for Marx rather than production systems and technology. ठीक है? So, is it okay? Neo-Marxism, Pankaj, ये term मैंने सुना नहीं है, unless you have heard it somewhere. Technical terms में be very, very careful. Okay, आपने कहीं पढ़ा होगा, you can quote somebody, then use, otherwise don't do it. All good here? And not asked, but I want all of you to discuss the modern theories. Okay, you remember Arsene Dumont? You remember J.S. Mill? ये पूछेगा भी नहीं, but as a conclusion, yeah, social theories जो हैं, social theories. So Malthus is an ecological theory. Malthus is a biological theory. Marx is a structural theory. Marx is an economic theory. Marx is a political theory. Social theories, because they talk about elevating the social status. They talk about removing poverty. They talk about increasing social and economic opportunities. Okay, the social capillarity theory. Social capillarity theory. Eliminating poverty, it's about improving the social status, it's about increasing opportunities. Okay? And J.S. Mill goes one step ahead, talks about women rights. He talks about food trade and food distribution. Also talks about migration of surplus labor. Okay. So, बाकी details आप notes देख लेना, but this is the crux. The problems of population growth can be addressed by, removing poverty, removing inequalities, women empowerment, import food. So, milk idea of food is something like PDS. You distribute food, you don't have to have positive checks and migrations. So, both of them, a social approach hai, and they are not willing to accept the positive checks concept of Malthus. They are anti-Malthusian. They are anti-Malthusian. Yes, you can say that. Both of these are social reformists approach hai. This is social reformist approach. Women, reproductive rights. And in India, we see more of this approach. In India, talking about a right to food. In India, PDS systems. In India, rights of women, reduce IMR, reduce MMR, take care of mother's health, postpartum care, vaccination. In India, we talk about a job creation, ये सारा social approach है. Okay. No, it is more on the lines of social theories. Okay. So this is the approach of India. It is more closer to, okay, yes, still 70s, 80s, we also believed in Marxist ideas. But since 90s, we have declared that Marxist is not how we must explain problems of population. So now it's more social approach. So family welfare programs. Okay, not the restrictive programs of Marxism. The family welfare programs, health, education, okay, women empowerment, okay, addressing gender disparities, they are more important. Okay? So this is the core of the three ideas. And a fourth one, demographic transition theory. Demographic transition theory. Yes. Yes, correct, Sachit. No, I will not call, no, I don't think. I don't know what is the theoretical justification there. They're asking me, can we call forced sterilization as a Marxian approach? Well, it was authoritarian. In that sense, maybe communism, but Marxism again did not talk about forced sterilization. Marxist idea only said that if you redistribute the resources, population growth will automatically come down. But Marx never advocated forced sterilization. So, usko authoritarian ही रखो. Okay. I don't even know if we call that as Malthusian either. Okay. Unless you have read somewhere, fine. Okay. Let's move on towards demographic transition theory. Now, 3-4 terms. This is a temporal theory. This is a descriptive theory. It is more numerical and statistical based. Therefore, some may refer to this as a modern theory. ज़्यादा numerical है, mathematical basis है, a statistics approach है. So we may call this as more of a modern theory. But remember, it is more descriptive. It is not as analytical because it does not explain the reasons in how transitions happen. It is not as analytical, and the model is more deterministic. The model is more deterministic because the stages are fixed. Why is the model deterministic? Because the stages, they are fixed, because the stages are unidirectional. Okay, because okay, it is only progressive change. There is no reversal possible is model mein. Okay, so it is a fixed stage, it is unidirectional, and it's only progressive. It's only progressive, and the assertion that all countries will go through the same stages. The assertion that all countries will go through the same stages, 1, say 2, and so on. In reality, okay, countries have skipped the stages. Countries have skipped stages. Like China, okay, it transited from stage 3 very rapidly towards stage 4. It has skipped stages. In reality, some countries can, okay, choose to remain in a particular stage. जैसे China, okay, is coming back towards, okay, stage 3, and it wants to remain in stage 3, labor intensive in some ways. Okay. There are reversals also. We have called these as mortality reversals. After countries in second stage, third stage, they have come back to second stage because of conflicts, because of poverty. There are mortality reversals because of poverty, because of conflicts. There's increase in rates of mortality. Yes, Iraq, Iran, Ukraine, Russia. Okay. And then the pace of transition that can be, okay, controlled. The pace of transition can also be controlled. How fast you want to move, it can be controlled. Okay, so it is, and एक और है reality में, okay, this is an important point here, that in demographic transition theory, implicit idea is that stage 4 is the most developed stage. Implicit is the stage of 4 is the most developed stage. Which means what? Okay. DTM sees development only in terms of population size and maximization of economic production and urbanization. It sees development in terms of size of population and in terms of maximization of economic production and urbanization. But there are other aspects of population development. Development में एक environmental angle है, development में security angle है, development में there is a cultural angle to development, there is the component of mental well-being also, a component of social relations and social capital है. Fourth stage as the most advanced stage is a misnomer. Okay? So development includes environmental quality, air, water, whatever, security, okay, conflicts, issues, cultural aspects, diversity hai, okay, mental well-being, health aspects hai, and social relations, capitals, and so on, social capital and so on. So all these aspects of development have not been considered in, okay, yes. And of course, yes, you're right. The model ignores the role of migrations. The model ignores the role of migrations. So it's a typical example of European model and European experience, okay, being imposed as the best model of population transition and development. A European model, a European experience being imposed as the best model of population, okay, transition and development. एक बार ये वाला question देखो, एक minute. Where's that? Look at this question. Ask 23 ने क्वेश्चन पूछा है, the stages of demographic transition, लिखो क्वेश्चन लिखो, the question of 2023, the stages of demographic transition are a reflection of uneven economic development, are a reflection of uneven economic development across the globe. explain with suitable examples. Explain with suitable examples. क्या कहना चाह रहा है बताओ? दोबारा 2 दिन में पढ़ो आप. The stages of demographic transition are a reflection of uneven लिखा है क्या आपको? Uneven economic development across the globe. Okay. Explain with examples. पहले बताओ, do you agree with the statement or not? Yes, no, maybe. If I want to rephrase the question, मैं कैसे लिखूंगा? This is always a litmus test. Can you rephrase or not? Okay. The stages of demographic transition are a reflection of uneven economic development. Yes, Megdeep, yes. You are there, but थोड़ा और एक्सप्लेन बताओ मुझे. Entirely the? What's the meaning of the word reflection? What is the meaning of reflection? Okay. This is a reflection of this. का मतलब क्या है? आप कहने तो कुछ चाह रहे हो, but I want some specific word. Reflection means it represents. Simple. अगर आपको what is telling us is, if you want to study and know global inequalities, you can know that by studying which demographic stage they are in. The rich countries are in stage 4. The poor countries, stage 1 and 2. That's what it means. That the demographic transition stage a country is in represents the level of development of their country. दोबारा पढ़ो question. Satyarit, is it saying, is it asking? Is the question asking you something? Or the question is telling you this and says prove it? Right? इसमें आपको ओपिनियन थोड़ी पूछ रहा है. एक्सप्लेन इट. मैंने कह दिया, अब बताओ. हर आदमी कमीना है. ओके, एक्सप्लेन इट क्या मतलब है इसका? मैंने प्रूव इट. डोंट से यू आर रॉन्ग. हर आदमी कमीना है, कमेंट. फिर आप बोलो नहीं सर आप कैसे कह सकते हो, मैं तो कितना अच्छा आदमी हूं. ओके, मैंने तो कुछ किया नहीं है. ओके फाइन. ठीक है, ऑल ऑफ यू हियर. This question is asking you to explain why, okay, the level of development of a country is reflected in terms of its, okay, demographic transition stage. हाँ, वो एंड में रखो ना मेघदीप. That's a twist will add by the contrarian view. So may I be all of you? So can you afford to disagree with this statement? You cannot. This is the difference between explain something and comment on something. Comment mein you have the freedom to say, no, I don't agree with this. In explain, agree with this, समझाओ, end में बताओ कि नहीं एक और dimension भी है which is missing, okay, without which the idea may be incorrect. Yeah, more as a Okay, a small discussion. So now you have to agree with this, that yes, the world has inequalities, there is poverty, there is hunger, okay, there are problems of destitution, some areas have prosperity, some areas have high quality of life, some areas have good urbanization, okay, and this can be represented and explained by the level of the demographic transition stage. Most of the low developing countries are in stage 1 and 2. Most of the developed countries are in stage 4. Countries which are developing and have future promise are in 3, moving towards 4. Countries which have slid down is because they were in 3, they've come towards 4, or they were in 4, they've come back to 3, and so on. Okay. So yes, the stage of demography, okay, is a representation of the level of development inequalities. आप इसको example बताओगे. Let's take up rural areas of India. They are in stage 2 or 3. Some of the most developed parts of the world are in stage 4. Okay. The tribal regions of the world are in stage 1. In Africa, most have moved towards stage 2, but they are still in the initial phases. They will witness 3 and they will have problems. Okay. Some of the most developed countries, okay, the stage of transition is in terms of the inverted pyramid of population, okay, age graph. Okay. The less developed countries have a broad base, tapering and a short height. आपको ऐसे समझाना पड़ेगा. Is it okay, all of you? Of? Yes, Russia, Ukraine, Iraq, जितने भी areas of conflicts हैं, they all have, reverse का मतलब क्या है? Mortality was reducing, it has now increased. Yes, lot of examples of reversal mortality. हाँ तो इसे शुरू मत करो ना. The China has come back to stage 3, so it's becoming poorer. ऐसे नहीं बोलो. उसको end करो फिर उसमें. However, there are exceptions also. Is it okay, all of you here? So what I've seen is, the moment you see demographic transition, फिर आप question को उल्टा देते हो and चालू होते हो. Whatever you know about it, you're writing it down. That is what you have to avoid. No mechanically writing. Okay. बार बार question को पढ़ो और समझो. So how does this answer का structure look like? Okay. So the first will be that there is a relationship between the demographic attributes of death rate, of birth rate, of population size, of longevity and life expectancy with levels of social and economic development. हम शुरू इसी से करेंगे हम. क्या relationship है? There is a relationship of demographic attributes. Okay, demographic attributes are death rate, birth rate, okay, size of population, life expectancy. I can also add sex ratio. इसका relationship है with, okay, the social and the economic development. Generally, less developed countries, okay, and third world countries have adverse demographic attributes along with poverty, inequalities, in some cases extreme hunger and conflicts. Whereas the more developed countries have more favorable attributes with higher urbanization, quality of life, okay, better levels of empowerment, and so on. So yes, you can use that. Okay? Then write down this relationship, okay, is best okay, reflected in comparing the countries and their stage of demographic transition. In comparing the countries in terms of their demographic transition. ठीक है? So, okay. Developed countries, comma OECD countries, and their status in stage 4. अब लिखो इनके बारे में with examples. Japan, Germany, South Korea maybe. Talk about France or UK or whatever. बिना पढ़े हुए, can you tell me what will be the TFR? You can't go wrong. Okay. Less than 2, less than 1.8, around 1.7, 1.8, 2.1 तो बहुत बड़ा guess मार दिया आपने. ठीक है? You can't go wrong with this. What do you think is the life expectancy in general अगर guess मारना होगा? 70 कम बोल रहे हो आप. इंडिया का कितना है? 65, right? Approximately. Say more than 80, more than 85 plus. And some of the longest living, more than 100 bhi hai in some cases, like Japan and Germany. You can't go wrong with that. Okay. What about sex ratio in these countries? At least a favorable sex ratio, exact yaad nahi hai. Favorable sex ratio, and can you just say more than 1000? You must know that favorable generally hota kitna hai? 1030 hota hai. 1010 bata do, 1020 bata do, and say favorable. You can't go wrong there. What do you think about literacy rates? Very high, 95%, 100% for that matter. Okay, fine. Okay. See, you must know how to bluff also. Okay. Or it's important is seekhna. You can't remember every facts. Right? So you have shown this. Yes, look at the longevity, look at their sex ratio, look at their levels of per capita income. There will be high income countries, highest levels of HDI index. Can you say that much? ठीक है. Figure याद नहीं है. Just say high and leave it. 3 figure दिया, एक में मैंने high करके छोड़ दिया. And there is no crime there. But HDI, I know they are high and very high HDI. Okay, more than 0.7 if you remember this much. You are on. So ये जो specifics होते हैं ना, this is where the game lies. एक तो समझो question क्या कहना चाह रहा है, and can you draw in general that these countries will have okay, inverted pyramids, very high aging population, okay, they will have low TFR, they'll have very low birth rates. आप बताओ कितना होगा यहाँ का birth rate बताओ. It falls down. कितना होने वाला birth rate? Less than 15, 7, 8, 9, रखो range. 15 बहुत ज्यादा है. India will hit almost that much. Okay, less than 6, 7, less than 10 करा दो. Fine. Okay, fine. कितना होगा death rate बताओ यहाँ पर? India कितना death rate है? 7 है. उससे तो कम होने वाला, right? Okay, I hope you got the point here. So play with the numbers. Okay, एक आध गलती हो गया, and these answers are written in your home conditions. नहीं पता है तो देख लो नेट खोल के. But if you see, problem is you see the question and you look for the answer. Don't do that. आप answer का बना लो structure first. Look for what you want to end the answer with. Okay, so I'm looking for data याद नहीं है, then I'll search it. And it's a matter of one good search, 4 answer बनेगा उससे आपका. Therefore, high developing countries are in the 4th stage of demographic transition. Correct? Okay. हो गया एक पैक section. Talk about list of countries बताओ. Talk about stage 2 के बाद. Stage 1, I hope you know, कोई भी country है नहीं stage 1 में. Stage 1 में there are only certain pockets of Okay, PVTGs across the world. दुनिया का मुझे कुछ पता नहीं, इंडिया का पता है. There are Sentinelese, there are Bihor populations, there are Ongis, there are Todas, there are Uralis, Irulas, Sentinel tribes, Alien tribes. बस काफी है, one paragraph. Okay, some of the least developed population societies are, okay, the PVTGs in the stage 1. Okay, itna problem hai, they almost are at the verge of extinctions. Why? Because of high birth rate, high death rate. ठीक है, हयाती यहाँ काफी न्यूज में है हयाती, but हयाती also is not stage 1. Okay, all countries have moved towards stage 2 and the degree can vary. So stage 2 में आप क्या example डालोगे आप? All the low developing countries, HDI सबसे नीचे वाला होगा. You can't go wrong with 7 countries. Afghanistan, okay, Pakistan, okay. वो एक अलग खुशी होता है, right? Afghanistan, Sudan, Somalia, parts of Nigeria, the Sahel countries, the Sub-Saharan Africa, parts of Central Asia, all those small countries, parts of Eastern Europe, including Ukraine, is moving towards stage 3. और लोग ही नहीं रहे तो क्या stage 2, क्या stage 3? Niger, fine, all of that. Okay, so one nice answer, they are the less developed countries. The countries which are transitioning towards development, emerging economies, most of them are in stage 3. India, Southeast Asian countries, excluding of course Singapore and the rest. Okay, countries of South America, okay, Brazil and the rest. Okay, so one paragraph on developed ones, one paragraph on stage 2, one paragraph on stage 3. Okay, one paragraph on stage 1 societies. But the challenge is आपको explain करना होगा in the context of, okay, yes, longevity कितना है, and India के याद रखना, you can play around with that. High MMR, high IMR means how much? High death rate, you cannot say 40-50. Okay, yes, 34-35 होना चाहिए, probably 20 में है, 25 में है, 30 में है, and you're on. Draw the demographic pyramid, बना दो आप. ठीक है, therefore there is a correlationship of development stage and demographic stage. However, there are countries like China, like the US, like even Germany, who want to move towards stage 3 for labor, okay, and manufacturing economies, encouraging migrants, encouraging, okay, higher TFR rates. ठीक है, so while this is right, but if you look at the recent trends, okay, stage 3 countries are not always the less developed countries, right? Plus high mortality, जो stage 5 में चला जाएगा, that doesn't mean they are poor countries anymore. ठीक है? And the answer towards saying that yes, there is a correlationship, but the correlationship is more in terms of economic quality of life. Okay, there are other aspects of development also: social well-being, security, mental health, that represents development levels better, which demographic transition theory cannot capture. Yes, absolutely. आपका ओपिनियन बोल रहा है ना, सो ब्लफिंग भी करना होगा इंटेलिजेंटली. ओके, एक्चुअली ये ब्लफिंग इज नॉट रैंडम, कुछ भी बोल दिया. ब्लफिंग स्मार्टली, पता नहीं है बट यू आर ट्राइंग टू मूव इन सम जोन्स. ऑल गुड हियर? ओके, is this answer manageable? एक और क्वेश्चन लिखो आप. Has Malthusian theory been discredited in contemporary times? Has Malthusian theory been discredited in contemporary times? Justify your answer. This is the question to you. आप बताओ, आपको क्या लगता है? You can go yes or no, or you can say yes but, or no but. That's your choice. That's your choice, and your choice. Has it been discredited? So if I go by the letter of the theory, not the spirit, exact words mein, that food will grow arithmetically, wrong. We have grown very fast in Green Revolution. Population will multiply geometrically, wrong. Population control is a norm of almost all countries. Okay. If I go by positive checks will operate, again wrong. Okay. We do not have positive checks across all countries. The idea that contraceptive is a vice, that's also wrong. The growth of population is because of man's biological urge, ye bhi galat hai. So start with that if we go by the letter and the words of the theory, these are the problems. Capitalism is not the solution, always. The problem is not inevitability of positive checks. There's nothing wise in contraceptives. There's nothing wise in adultery or even unusual sexual habits, which he thought was a sin. That is possible to control populations by policies. Possible hai. That food will not always be a restraint. So explain yes. इसके support में examples देना आप फिर. Green Revolution as an example. Socialist countries also have done a decent work in controlling the numbers, not only capitalist countries. Populations have not collapsed across the world. Right? The idea that it will collapse and population will double 25 years में, वो भी गलत है. It's not multiplying. Growth is because of biological urge, again wrong. So make a list of this. However, examples में you can mention examples. However, in spirit, the theory is a wisdom. In spirit, there are limits to how much the earth can sustain. In spirit, there are environmental problems, there are food shortages and conflicts. In spirit, there are problems related to poverty and high growth rates, lack of health amenities, lack of nutrition, famines, hunger, whatever. Those who know this move it towards limits to growth. Population, I think वो graph आपको बना के end the answer by saying that Malthusian idea of development, sustainable development, neo population control policies, issues related to optimum population, yes, you can add that. Ultimately, man is limited by the food he can produce. वो आंसर आपका अभी? Yes, right, not right, and conclusion में what the wisdom says. So ऐसे question में don't end up writing entire Malthusian theory. We don't want that. How do you start the answer? Start the answer by saying that Malthus was a very important interpretation of how population grows. Malthus was the first theory of population. He gave ideas of 1, 2, 3 points. the reasons to believe that while he may not be entirely correct, but he cannot be dismissed either. One paragraph. Then the heading, following aspects of the theory are incorrect in in letter of the theory. अब बताओ 1, 2, 3, 4. हो जाएगा answer all of you? Okay. Don't get restless. Okay. अभी शाम जवान है. हाँ, yes, sit with me. हम शेर शायरी भी करेंगे. मेरा मुजरा तो देख ही रहे हो, so what we can do is 6:45 है. You can take a 5 minutes break. Okay, bio break, drink some water. Okay, catch a biscuit if you want to, and then come back. But come back. That's the point. You can hear me now, online students? Yes, okay. So while your friends are taking a break and, okay, there's a question, are you all coping with the pace? If no, understandable, it'll take you some time to manage. Yes, Pankaj, don't give up. Oh, Ram says it's slow pace. Okay, good you are at home. Aman, your request taken but dismissed. Sir, don't go beyond 3 hours. मैंने सुन लिया, but that's about it. क्यों 3 घंटे में क्या होगा? You'll turn into Cinderella or what? Aman? Mapping sessions, I have not decided yet, but let me see. If you guys are willing to learn, I'll sit down. Polity to revise. That I understand. Okay. देखो क्या होता है, while all of us know, I mean ऐसा कोई hardly कोई होगा who will say कि revision important नहीं है, and all of you agree writing is important, but अकेले करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है. That's why the class dynamics. So the pace we are moving, 2-3 घंटे में 3-4 questions almost answer form में, I think that's a pretty good pace. और ऐसा नहीं है कि ये 3-4 घंटे में आप कुछ बहुत पढ़ देने वाले थे. चाय पी लेते, पकौड़ा खा लेते, बैल्कनी में थोड़ा घूम रहे थे. Okay, somebody comes as a friends. Yeah. घर में बैल्कनी नहीं है, अमान, तो पड़ोसी के बैल्कनी में जाओ. हाँ भिजवा दो, मैं तो कोल्ड टी ही लेता हूँ, सो डजंट मैटर, थैंक यू. Yes, Mehakdeep, today was only orientation. You are right. Yeah, revision session is something I have not done earlier, but I think this is what okay, the present times need. Now, next time, all of you, 2-3 things. Please get a packet of biscuits with you, right? And I'm perfectly fine. क्लास में भी खाओ, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, बस वो आवाज मत करना. Okay, मुझे भूख लगती है फिर. ठीक है? I'm a man, when I start studying, I need to eat lots. Okay, I need to have some snacks because your mind craves for more glucose. Simple सी बात है. So keep some biscuits, keep fruits. Banana is all time, okay, good, nice, healthy. Okay, that's one. इसके अलावा, all of you bring your textbooks with you. Human Geography, Majid Hussain. Carry a cooler also with you. Carry your synopsis if you have done it, or the class notes. Okay, and carry your PYQ ka printouts also. On the net, those printouts, those resources are there. Or I'll share that again, maybe. Okay, so keep all the resources with you. In library, fine, very nice, Nidhi, that works. So offline guys, do that. Okay, ठीक है, तो ज़्यादा bag होगा और क्या, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Okay, so that's one. And by today night तक, I would have uploaded all the practice test questions. And the practice tests are such that I'm touching every topic of your syllabus. Okay, social well-being, optimum population, tribal issues, food and malnutrition, growth of population, distribution of population, Neo-Malthusian, population pyramid, migration, global patterns, okay, gender issues, cultural regions, globalization. तो अगर आपने ये 15 क्वेश्चन कर लिया ना, आपका 70-80% you are ready. Both paper 1 and paper 2. उसके ऊपर में I will add some more questions also. So make sure you have gone through, and I'm giving this along with the supporting reading documents also. ठीक है? So these 4-5 things, okay, we can manage them. Already uploaded? Okay, fine, Devarka. ठीक है. So you go back home, check your dashboards. The questions have been uploaded with the supporting reading documents also. Okay, let's get started. Back to your seats. So look at this question. Okay. Question asked is, compare and contrast. Question लिखो. Compare and contrast the Malthusian and neo-Malthusian perspectives. Compare and contrast the Malthusian and neo-Malthusian perspectives in the context of population growth, resource use, and environmental impact. Compare and contrast Malthusian and new Malthusian perspectives in the context of population growth, resource use, and environmental impact. This is a 2020 का question है, 20 marks. What does Malthus tell? What do neo-Malthusian theories tell us about population growth, about resource use, about environmental impact? ठीक है. Malthus, that population growth is a function of biological urge. Population growth, okay, is more a function of poverty. Okay. Population growth control is only possible by positive checks. Population growth के वजह से population will double every 25 years. ये points you have to recall and reproduce. Consequence of biological urge, man is an animal. Poverty, the poor people multiply more. Okay, it is controlled only by positive checks, and inevitable है growth and collapse. And that 25 years में population will double. Okay, new Malthusians, they do not talk about population growth as a central theme. New Malthusians, they are more about development limits. They're more about quality of life. Development limits, quality of life, okay, as a function of environmental limits. ये population के बारे में directly बात ही नहीं कर रहे हैं. They talk about what? They talk about quality of life. They talk about development के limits हैं because of limits in environment. In what ways? Limits in environment's resources, and limits in pollution. Okay, how are these controlled? They're controlled in terms of pollution issues and in terms of resource issues. अच्छा. And इसमें the population size is an implied aspect of development. There's an implied aspect of development, but not the central theme. Achha. For Malthus, the only resource considered is land and its ability to produce food. The only resource use considered in case of Malthus is land and its ability to produce food. Okay. And इसमें क्या है? Land in terms of absolute size, not in terms of quality of land. ज़्यादा land, कम land की बात हो रहा है, right? That is, amount of land is limited. In this case, there is no reference to quality of land. Either fertility, water availability, उसकी बात नहीं हो रही है. And even the conflicts are, okay, about limited land. What about New Malthusian? They refer to range of resources. Forest, water resources, fossil fuel resources. Okay? Water resources, fossil fuel resources, forest resources. They refer to, okay, all inputs, including capital resources, technology also, and more in terms of that resources have limits, both quantity and quality. The resources have limits. You cannot have infinite technology. You can't have infinite fossil fuel. You cannot have infinite amount of water. ठीक है? So Neo-Malthusian, okay, talks about, okay, the range of resources as inputs and how that impacts again development, not just population. Environment impact, Malthus has no reference to environment. Except in terms of positive checks like epidemics, positive checks like droughts and famines. Otherwise, there's no reference to environment in Malthusian. In New Malthusian, environment is a dominant theme. Environment theme is captured under pollution issues. The resources are limited, not just in terms of absolute amount, but resources are limited also in terms of quality considerations. Also in terms of quality considerations. New Malthusian is best represented in limits to growth. And draw the graph now, if you know their graph. Yaad hai Majid Hussain wala? I'll show that to you. What happens to population? What happens to industrial production? Okay, what happens to energy resources? What happens to pollution problems? Yeah? And from New Malthusian, the concept of stop and go determinism, the concept of sustainable development, that's the problem. For these type of questions, you do not need to read more. You need to read the same notes, same textbooks with better understanding. और आपको आंसर जनरेट करना होगा फ्रॉम द सेम पॉइंट्स. अगर इसके लिए और पढ़ना पड़ रहा है, देन तो इन ट्रबल. यस, टेल मी. यस, ओके. नहीं, वहां पर भी पोल्यूशन वगैरह ही हैज टॉक्ड इन कंटेक्स्ट ऑफ क्राउडिंग. उनका मेन कंसर्न है क्राउडिंग. पॉवर्टी भी क्राउडिंग की वजह से है और पोल्यूशन भी क्राउडिंग की वजह से है, नॉट अबाउट रिसोर्स यूज के प्रॉब्लम्स. वहां से वो इंस्पायर हो रहा है, बट उसके थ्योरी में एनवायरमेंट नहीं है डायरेक्टली. इनफैक्ट यू कुड एड दिस पॉइंट दैट मैल्थस में there is no reference to environmental disasters either. कैसे लिखोगे बताओ? How to write a migration? बताओ कैसे लिखोगे इसमें? You tell me. Question is compare, contrast Malthus and these three heads. और यही आपका headings बनेगा. Malthus versus Neo-Malthusian resource use. Malthus versus Neo-Malthusian growth of population. सब में one paragraph with examples. You are done. It is Neo-Malthusian concepts of environment, the rest, okay, that inspires the concept of quality of life, environmental quality of life. फिर तो you open up the entire domain. Yes, the concept of viable population of the earth, correct? What is the most viable population? One answer up, all of you. See, if you have done these kind of questions, see, why do we tell you do PYQ? For three reasons. One is, some questions do get repeated in some way or the other. One. Number two, if you do PYQs, you understand the themes UPSC can ask you. Second, okay, it gives you a good scope to think on dimensions also. ऐसे अगर दो तीन क्वेश्चन कर दिया ना आपने, then your mind opens up कि अच्छा, this is how you treat the question. Introduction. Say that there have been many theories about population and problems of population. Malthus was among the first ones, but they have been modified by other theories. Okay, although Malthus has been challenged, but Malthus inspired Neo-Malthusian, but there are fundamental differences between them as follows. It is, I don't know if you can appreciate or not. When you introduce any answer or anything, remember, the introduction is about what you will write next. The introduction is about the write-up which will follow. So if the write-up is compare, contrast, Malthus, Neo-Malthus. So intro में वो आना चाहिए. Let the intro not be about, okay, one paragraph on what is Malthusian theory. I mean, galat nahi hai, but that's not how you discuss. It's like, introduce yourself. My name is this. I come from this place. This is what I do. Introduce your culture. Then don't say my name is this. I come from India. Okay. I speak this language. I follow this practice. This is part of India's culture. Then I start off. Introduce, okay, yourself as a youth of the country. Then don't say my name is so and I come from India. In India, the youth has some attributes. I belong to this age group and I represent some aspects of the youth. So, आप जो introduce करोगे ना, you don't introduce a theme. You introduce the answer that you will write down. Intro का purpose क्या है? Reading this, I should know what will follow. It's like a trailer of a movie, right? It cannot be trailer दिखा रहा है, okay, one movie, actual movie कुछ और चल रहा है. That's called as marketing. वो अलग चीज है. Yes, so intro depends on two things. Question समझ में आया कि नहीं? Second, आप आगे कैसे लिखोगे? So your introduction should not be writing about Malthus. The keywords क्या हैं question के? Malthus, Neo-Malthus, and the three terms. You say Malthus was an important theory. He talked about population and land relationship. His ideas were challenged, okay, but in many ways, okay, Neo-Malthusian was inspired by Malthus' idea of resource limits. However, there are certain, okay, basic differences in the two approaches as discussed below. That's about it. Khadam. Not one page of write-up on introduction. So it's like, two things. The answer is a write-up on the question. And the introduction is the initiation to the answer. So this word, what I mean by this word, the question. Answer is not a write-up to a question. You are writing to the specific question asked. Usko answer karo. And intro must also be very specific to the answer that you have. Say, a question was like, do you think Malthus is right or wrong? And my answer is, he is wrong. Intro banega. Although Malthus gave many concepts of A, B, C, D, but there are flaws. Hence, I disagree with Malthus, and that's because of the following. Okay. But I agree with him. So change karo usko. Malthus gave concepts, while most modern scholars and Neo-Malthusian dismiss him. But according to me, there are merits in what he says, as discussed below. I may establish kar diya ki I agree with him, and that's how I'm telling you. Make sense, all of you here? So, see, most people, you all understand the importance of introduction, but in trying to do that, you unnecessarily, okay, go overboard with introduction. बहुत ज़्यादा सोच लेते हो आप लोग. अपने बारे में बताओ. Okay, good morning. I am discussing about myself. That's introduction, which is number 1, number 2, number 3. You don't have to play too much around. एक दो sentence. वैसे भी पूरा answer, okay, 200-150 word का ही तो है. You can't have an introduction of 40-50 words. The answer is over. आधा answer ही खत्म हो गया आपका. Okay. Write another question. Oh, I agree. Actual पढ़ाई ये चल रहा है आपका. Okay, the foundation courses is, I am pushing content, but these are the ones जहाँ पर actually आप सोच रहे. I hope you are thinking. I'm assuming again. Hang on with it. I'll take your 4-5 classes. You will know what we are doing then. ठीक है? Question लिखो. Provide an account of the world population transition. Account of the world population transition in the context of fertility decline, and socio-economic development. Provide an account of the world population transition in the context of fertility decline and socio-economic development. 2020 का क्वेश्चन है, 15 marks में. 15 marks means don't go beyond 2 pages maximum. If I'm in your place, I'll write in one and a half page. पढ़ो क्वेश्चन 2-3 बार. Let's see if you understand. How does population transition means demographic transition theory. Okay. And tell us, how does decline in fertility, okay, is related with socio-economic development. Can you see with the other question similarity wala kaisa hai? Other one was what? Okay, the different stages of demographic transition represents levels of development. Almost same question hai. It's just that it says talk more in terms of change in fertility, in terms of birth rate. वैसे ही होगा. High developed countries, low birth rate, low TFR. Less development, high birth rate, high TFR. The transition ones, they have got transition TFR, okay, towards India, whatever. And the least developed ones, maybe high birth rate, high TFR, but also very high death rate. Is it okay? And you can always add the dimension that this theory talks about transition. It doesn't tell us about the reasons of transition. Economic development, women empowerment, better medical amenities, वो आप add कर सकते हो. Yeah, I hope it's making sense now. 10 साल का पेपर कर लोगे ना, you will have a fair range of क्या पूछने वाला है. And even if they twist the question, you can handle it. Okay, all fine? Okay. And one question asked sometime earlier was, this I think most of you must have done in the class, okay, which is Marx's view on population is more humanistic. I think this all of us, okay. Marx's view on population is more humanistic. Okay. Marx talks about redistribution, talks about, okay, equality issues, talks about declining wage rates. He's implying, okay, poverty problems are because of exploitation. Okay. He is talking about poor are not the reasons for, okay, poverty, right? That the poor require or deserve some basic political rights, basic economic rights. Unlike Malthus, the inevitability of positive checks, and the poor must be given wages but not control of resources. Okay. The poor are more like animals, biological urge. Okay. That's how you compare how Marx is more humanistic. Achha. Write this question. Neo-Malthusian policies aimed at limiting family size have had mixed results. New Malthusian policies aimed at limiting family size have had mixed results. Discuss with examples from across the world. Let's see now. I feel it's a very interesting question to handle. What does New Malthusian policy say? That there are limits to water, limits to energy, limits to pollution, absorption of environment. And one reason can be that we are more people. So let's reduce the numbers. So when we reduce the numbers, the idea was that our population will be within the carrying capacity of the environment. ये idea था. So even if I have not studied New Malthusian, but इससे समझ में आ रहा है ना at least. Now the question, इसका result जो है, it has been mixed. In some cases good, in some cases not good. Okay? So the idea is that control population for controlling a resource shortage, for controlling pollution, for a sustained economic development, to reduce poverty, for better quality of life. This is what I can see as New Malthusian. Malthus was control population, possible nahi hai. A positive check is what will destroy us. Okay, because land is limited. This expands more. You know, we can control population, then we can achieve all this. We can have more industrial development, we can have more urbanization, we can have better quality of life. More, but I'm saying the consequence has been mixed. Mixed means what? कुछ positive हो गया और कुछ negative हो गया. Positive and negative क्या हुआ? Positive क्या हुआ? Yes, lot of developing countries have a reduced population. Okay. Many fast developing countries, okay, have managed to stabilize their population. Okay, so examples. Okay. New Malthusian environmental concerns have at least put environment issues as a priority. Water quality की बात हो रही है, forest की बात हो रही है. We're talking about better urbanization. Okay, reducing pollution, fine. So positive हुआ है, mixed हुआ है, fine. Negative क्या हुआ है? Negative is number one that problems of environment is not actually the problem of population size. It's the problem of the intensity of resource consumption. Your water intensive economies, your energy intensive economies, your plastic intensive economies. ठीक है? So promoting control of population does not necessarily control lifestyles. We find the European countries, they are more wasteful. They're more energy intensive. They are more polluting. Okay. Their water consumption is far more than agriculture economies. ठीक है? So ये negative रहा कि आपने in the name of population issues, you have not actually handled resource consumption. lot of developing countries have forcefully controlled their populations. Like India was example. The consequence was spike in the birth rate. ठीक है? That actually has not helped. अच्छा, एक और problem हुआ है. Because of forceful control of population, particularly in agriculture economies में, there has been decline in sex ratio. They have controlled the number of girl child. It has created population imbalance. When we had compulsory sterilization, तो क्या हुआ था? We went in for female, okay, feticide. We increased the female abortions, right? We went in for sex determination tests. India में भी हुआ, China में भी यही हुआ है. So, neo-Malthusian practice of controlling population has resulted in gender imbalance. It has problems related to social problems of gender discrimination. It has now become institutionalized. ठीक है. उसके बाद force control has also led to imbalance in the age compositions. Suddenly what has happened is TFR is less, okay, and your aging population have expanded. ठीक है. So higher dependency ratio with shrinking labor force. Shrinking labor force. India ho, China is the best example of this. Forced neo-Malthusian practices. ठीक है. इसका एक और unintended consequence रहा है. Because labor decrease हुआ है, there has been a need to encourage migrants, and that has led to racial conflicts. That has led to racial conflicts. Okay, so the conclusion is, neo-Malthusian strategies of controlling population. Malthus says population size can't be controlled. Neo-Malthusian says it can be controlled, and with controlling that, not just food problem, the environmental problems can be solved also. The development problems can be solved also. I repeat, Malthusian idea was population can't be controlled. Okay. The only option is positive checks. It's inevitable. Neo-Malthusian intends control to solve environmental problems, to support sustained economic growth. Okay. But the fallacy is the problems are not related to population size alone. The problems are related to three things. One is inequalities. Number two is intensity of resource use. Neo-Malthusian का कहां mistake रहा? They don't see the problem of inequality. They don't see the problem of resource intensity in use. And third, they don't see the issue of population composition balance. Therefore, they have mixed consequences. You understand what I mean by analytical now? And guys, to be very honest, batao, how many of you did not know the points? How many of you had no idea कि अच्छा ये point मुझे पता ही नहीं था? Anybody in the class who did not know at all? आपका problem था आप link कर नहीं रहे थे. Oh, these points can come in the points, in the answer. Yes. So this problem you can't solve by studying more books. You solve it by thinking on the questions. Correct. Yeah? Don't pack up. If I get a sense of pack up kar rahe ho, somehow my hormones kick off. Acha, I will not kill you today. I need you for another day. एक क्वेश्चन लिख लो. For 5 minutes. What is the concept of fertility transition? What's the concept of fertility transition? Discuss the reasons for it in different parts of the world. What's the concept of fertility transition? Discuss the reasons for it in different parts of the world. Essentially, how does birth rate change? और बताओ कहाँ कैसे हो रहा है? Again, bring in demography transition theory. This was a question asked. Okay, fine. Okay. I'm not entirely devoid of magnanimity also. We are meeting again on Wednesday. And my request to all of you is, before you decide karna hai nahi karna, I know some of you students, you want to shift it for next year. But my suggestion is, sit with me for a couple of more classes first. See what you're gaining, and if this can be used for GS also, then take a call. You have no idea about students who are doing GS advanced with me. ठीक है? Okay, bye-bye. Have a nice reading of the answers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.